Oh, we've got two already. Don't know if the light is right in the background now. Let's have a look. Let's see if we get a bit more light on me. There we go. We got one anyway, one live viewer. Let me just see if I just get the computer on and we can go with this now this morning. Well, look, thanks for joining. Let me just do this now. It's a real bitter day today. Let's have a look. There we are. We're back on air. As long as I don't touch that now. There we go. Well, what a week. What a week. Thanks very much for joining. We've got 4 live viewers. I always forget. Welcome anyway. Welcome to... I hope you can hear me. If you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up. That'd be nice to know now. We've got Debbie McGee coming in the office now at the moment. There we are. Right, okay. Dreadful week when it comes to the weather, and just been absolutely awful, and it's a real struggle for landscapers and contractors across the country. Good morning, Ben. Going to get my glasses on now because I need to read and see what people say. On the screen that I see, on the screen that I actually see, let me just get the microphone over here so you can actually hear me. Ben, if you can hear me and it's coming through nice and clear, just give me a thumbs up. If you can give me a thumbs up, I don't know how it works on... remember to your privacy. There we are. Top notch, loud and clear, Johnyboy. That's what we want. Thanks, top notch. Really appreciate that. All clear. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's all we wanted to do. It's amazing with these live streams. They're not going to get out there to everybody initially, but people can watch them later on. And we've got a couple of calls coming in this morning. I hope it all works. I am going to want some support from my technical assistant, who I call Debbie McGee, at some point. So let me have a look if everybody's still on here at the moment. So here we go. Yeah, big thank you to ITS as usual. We've got to tell them and mention them because they are supporters of Greentop Landscapes and the YouTube channel, getting the information out to you guys who are doing the daily grind. And also, of course, we mustn't forget the consumer. Here she is again. The sign is back to front. Well, look, there is nothing like it is there. So I've just been told she got me to put it around the other way because when we do the Facebook live streams, it appears back to front. So we're going to do what we done last week. We're going to turn the sign around. Here we go. Bear with me. Here we go. I do apologise for this, but this is what happens. And it's done. It's a done deal. There's a mistake, and in life, there we are, get it around, and you're going to say, well, does it really matter about the sign? Well, I'll get back to you in a second. Let me have a look. There we go, we're back. Going to see if anybody actually said anything there. Hi, John. Hope all as well from Lee from Handy Groundworks. Lee, yeah, good to see you on here. They're laughing at me, Lee, because I had the sign the wrong way around. Hey, look, how important is branding anyway? That's a good point. How important is branding and signage on your van? You know, you do your signage when you start getting your information out there, right from the word go, whether it's yellow pages or those leaflets, or whether it's even on the internet and the digital means that is available to us now. But there we are, Landscape Survival. It's a forum for landscapers where they can go on there and they can gain information, knowledge, and build a community and friendships. Looking forward to the show, Martin Evans. Yeah, Martin, I think we've got you coming on at 10:45. That's Martin there. He can tell you all about him very, very shortly. He's got the number. He's going to call in. That's why these live streams are so important, because you can hear off other landscapers or contractors or even consumers, not just myself. Alison Roberts says, good morning. She's going to have to get in here at some point to help me out with the phone call when it comes in. So look, as I was saying, massive thanks to ITS, the tool people. You can go to their website, which is www.its.co.uk. And if you're looking for any tools and you mention the Johnyboy promo code, you will get a free gift. So a massive thank you to ITS. The thing is, you probably think to yourself that I've actually sold out to one of these corporate sponsors, but the fact is I haven't. It's just a case that these people have decided to come on board with me and they want to give you a free gift at some point. And yes, they want your money just like you want your clients' money. There is nothing wrong with that whatsoever. It's what they call being surviving. That's what it's called, surviving. That's what companies do. They survive, and they survive by trading. It's what we do on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, big thank you to ITS and Ben there and Richie. Get on there and have a look. They are on Instagram. Follow them through. I am going to have to put my glasses on this morning because I had a beer last night. How many of you guys across the country on a Friday have a beer? Well, I had only 2-3 beers, but there you go. It helped me to relax and it made things a lot more easier for me when my back and my muscles start to relax, because the job we do is very, very tense. Let me have a look who we've got joining us now. Happy to be a part of what you are going on, mate. Yeah, absolutely, Ben. Thanks very much for that. Look, these streams will go out later on, and so important that we share our knowledge and we share what's going on and what's currently trending and what's relevant in the landscaping world at the moment. A couple of things we're going to be talking about. The resolution of my videos. I actually went best group on Lee Andy. Cheers, bud. I went on my television the other day, and I got the YouTube out and I had a look. And I was really disappointed at the resolution, the pixelation, the quality of the image on the last video I done. And on all the other videos before, they've been absolutely fine. Yeah, really frustrating, and just to see that. And I don't think it's fair on you guys that you spend time and tune into a channel and that we're not delivering quality imagery. Let's get this on here now. Darren Owen, do you charge... Just go back there. Do you charge to go to somebody's house to look at the garden for a job? Yeah, well, yes, we do. Actually, for Green Top Landscapes, we actually charge to go out and see a client because it's our time, okay? And what you've got to remember, that your best asset, your biggest asset you'll have in your life is your time. It's valuable to you. It's valuable to your family. And I'll be totally honest with you. You know as well as I know what are the percentages of people that are just what we call tire kickers, that are just tested and just getting an idea of price. Well, I wouldn't want to put my finger on that. The percentages of people that just get us out just for a price. And you know, when you've been working hard all week, I remember years ago going out and seeing clients and having 10 customers to see on a Saturday, going around and getting all those quotes done and trying getting them all out as well on a Sunday night, working to the early hours of the morning. It's difficult. It really is difficult. And you want somebody to actually value what you're doing. So yeah, we do charge. We charge for our time because we feel that we have the knowledge and the advice that's going to actually save them money. And that consultation fee actually is an investment, and that's how I see it. If you want to talk about that at any point, you want to discuss that with me, I'm more than happy to discuss that with you privately, no problem at all. Ben says, if anyone's got any questions about ITS and what's going on, fire them in for a chat. Yeah, absolutely. We've got Ben here from ITS. Good to have you on here, Ben. We got to mention as well, the thing is about ITS, if you order before 7 on the day, you can get it the next day, and delivering 7 days a week. It's amazing, these online companies that provide this service. Without doubt, they have actually thrived. I was listening to Jeremy Vine on Radio 2 the other day, and they were going through about businesses that are really doing well during this period, because it was on the news and going around about how we've lost a lot of trade and the percentages, etc., and how this industry, how it's thriving at the moment. I don't know what the time is now at the moment. I don't know if Alison can tell me, because I think we are expecting a call coming in, hopefully from Martin at some point. And Mrs. Debbie McGee's going to have to help me with that. The couple of things I actually want to talk about was I was talking about the resolution of the video. I didn't think it was actually fair that you guys are tuning in and watching videos that the resolution isn't very good at all. Yeah, Alison's given the message there. So there we are. She's helping me. Maybe she can tell me what the time is. 10:46. Well, we're waiting for Martin Evans. Hopefully Martin will be giving me a call in a minute. And or I think I said a little bit later. There's Alan Backshaw. Good to see Alan on here. Let's have a look what Alan has to say. Alan says, morning, mate. Nothing worse than spending time and effort to price a garden and they hand work over to someone else, a friend or family to do instead. Yeah, absolutely. That's really, really annoying, isn't it? You know, and like Alan knows himself, that's why he said that these people sometimes they just use us. It's got to be said, and it's just not nice at all. But if they're engaging with you, oh, we got a call coming in. Here we go. Let me have a look. Hello, is that Martin? Yeah, I think my wife is going to come in now and get me connected through to. Let's get this over here now, and we're going to try and get the audio turned up a little bit here, Mark. Let me just put you on speaker at the moment. Hello, Alison. It's great when this happens, isn't it? Speaker. 1 second, Mark. Look, listen. We're doing these vlogs now. We want to get the information out to people. If Mark can just bear with me a moment while we try and connect the Bluetooth. Bluetooth technology is a bit of a problem. Let's have a look now. You can just see it on there. There we go. We're just going to get you on now, Mark. There you are. Hello. We're just trying to get the Bluetooth working on the speaker so everyone else can actually hear what's going on. Here we go. Martin. Hello.
How you doing, John?
Yeah, Mark, thank you, Alison, for that. Debbie McGee, as I call her, she's my little assistant with an assistant with fire. Martin, people can actually hear you now loud and clear. Thank you for joining this podcast on a Saturday morning.
Thank you, John. Well, thank you for having me.
No problem at all. Look, we've got this video is going to be seen by probably quite a few later on. Tell our audience who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Yes, thank you, Johnny. Well, I'd just firstly like to say thank you very much for having me. And yeah, your group's fantastic, John, and some of the work that people produce and I see on there is absolutely phenomenal, especially in these conditions at this time of year. I take my hat to everyone that produces that. So my name's Martin Evans, and I run a paving company called Rite, Pave, and we essentially install driveways, patios, resin bound, and we do landscaping as part of those projects as well. And yeah, I've been doing it for about 25 years, and yes, it's very challenging at this time of year.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, 25 years, you've got a good pedigree then, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, it takes a long time to learn, you know, the facets of this work, and especially when you work for yourself and you set up a business. For me, it's not just essentially I started off with paving and then brickwork and I moved into landscaping, but the business aspect of it is not always taught, and I found I've had to sort of teach myself that, which is you know, can be very challenging.
Hey Mark, if I could like compare you with an analogy, Pablo Maldini, the football player that played for, I think it was AC Milan or Inter Milan, one of those sides. He played for the same club for all those years until he was a ripe old age. You know, he was a real club man, and that in itself, what that says to me is that you. How old are you now, Martin? If you don't mind asking, how old are you?
39.
So 39. So you've been in this industry for 25 years, and so really you've got the pedigree to go out and the credentials to actually deal with a client's needs, haven't you? Really?
Yeah. Well, I'd like to think so.
No.
Yeah, Over those years, definitely, I've met my challenges, and I'm a firm believer in you learn from your mistakes, and they can be more important than your wins. As long as you learn from them, and there's so many angles in which it can come at you. Obviously, recently we're battling the weather, and that's in summer it can be too hot, winter it can be too cold. Then you've got the rain element, and that, without the the business issues, the staffing issues, materials. In recent times, the issues with materials. So it's problem solving. That's what I find. It's constant problem solving, and being able to negate your way through that arena to get the best end result possible, and give everyone what they want. First and foremost, the client.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know, Martin, I'm full of analogies this morning. I'm listening to you talk now. I was going to ask you a question, is that, your strategies over the years of actually going out and from the start the process to the finishing process, finishing the job on the last day. What's changed drastically over the years? What's changed significantly where you knew that you had to change? Right from when you start, what's the thing that really sticks in your mind? The strategy that that you had to change. And the point I was going to make is that really you're a bit like a British soldier, aren't you? Where they have to adapt and overcome in situations. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's a really interesting question. I think primarily it's always adding value to a client. It's always giving the client a point of where they feel that you are adding more value than someone else. And the strategy. I have procedures in place and a strategy, a sales strategy, as it were, from start to finish. From that point, I'm working through the process, and I stick rigidly with that process. And I find that process works for me. It might not for everyone, but over the years, I have added bits, taken bits away to. I think ultimately the society we live in today is sort of social media based, especially where the COVID restrictions have come in. I've noticed an influx in shows like yourself and internet related products, as it were, and obviously with that, off the back of what we do is review systems. That is fundamentally important to find your business as good as word of mouth.
Hey, Mark, I don't want to interrupt you now, because there's something I'm actually thinking at the moment is that, some people will say over the years, well, I'm a success because my business is increased and I'm doing really, really well. But would you say that some people they've improved their business because they have got better? Or do you think that people have improved their business because of the increase of their client base, because everybody seems to have disposable income at the moment? Well, a lot of people do, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've got that fact where there's, a percentage of people sitting at home with 80% of their money and they're not going on holiday, 80% of their pay not going on holiday, they're not going to restaurants, cinemas, etc. So, people always have a need to spend. They're sitting at home, they're looking at their driveways, patios, and they're seeing how they can create value to their property. So there is that. Also, there's an inherent parking problem in this country, so that fuels the need for driveways. But for me, growing the business, and that argument is, definitely there's one person that drives behind the business. One of the biggest things I've learned in recent years is branding. I've put a lot into branding in recent years, vehicles, website, etc., and how the business looks, as well as working obviously on the back end of it, and that has massively helped to sort of create a brand and how the company is positioned and where it sits to put it in a place to find the end user. Yeah, absolutely. Are you
where you want to be right now as a business? In percentage terms, where are you?
Look, I think as I am, I would always like to be further forward. That's just maybe how I'm set up. But yes, am I happy with where I am? Yeah, of course I am. I'm blessed to have what I have. I'm grateful every day for what I do have and what I've created. But yeah, is there always room for improvement? 100%. And I believe the day you stop, wanting to improve, strive for that next better situation, situation, you know, for me, I might as well potentially give up. But definitely there's room for improvement. But am I where I need to be? Yes.
Look, Martin. I am not going to be able to ask all the questions that people would want to know, but we can do this again in the future. But you know, when it comes to what you offer a client, what do you offer a client in your service where some other companies you feel that they fall a little bit short of?
Okay, so. All the guys that work for me, they're all employed by me. I'm on the jobs from conception.
So they're all employed. Sorry, did you say they're all employed by you? Yeah.
Yeah, and trained by myself as well. For
right.
me, it's, you know, I take lads from when they're younger, and train them up, and that's how I like to do it. I believe in youth and the youth today, and I believe also it takes a certain kind of caliber of person to do a job. It's manually grueling. It's fully laborious, and you know it's a tough job, especially, you know, like these times a year. And you know, I like taking young lads and training them and moving them forward. I think that's important. Anyone that I'd have working with me, I'd have around my own house. I wouldn't expect to have someone around someone else's house that I wouldn't have in my own house. You know, so there's that element of trust and that sort of family unit. And I believe that's really important. And you know, we offer a complete service. It's also the back end of the service, the aftercare part of the project. You know, not just doing a job and running, and offering a client. It's being flexible throughout the project. You know, currently we're doing a project down the road that started off as 70 square metres of resin, and now it's turned into another 350 square metres of lawn, 25 panels of fencing, 50 square metre patio onto the back, and you kind of, you know, the client's added that work as we've gone along, and you have to be flexible, and you've got to be able to manage that. And if you're booked in, which we are sort of 4 or 5 months in advance, with a multitude of projects, you have to kind of manage that. You can't turn around and say, look, we can't do it, we can't fit it in, but obviously you've got people booked up coming in. So again, it comes down to the problem-solving issue of giving someone what they need and what they want, but also trying to manage everyone else's future expectations and keep them in line.
Yeah, Mark, we've got one of our. I'm sorry about the noise in the background. I should have put them out. It's quite funny, but hey, it is what it is.
You're screaming at me, John.
No. Hey, look, it is what it is. You know, we do these live streams from the office, and that's how it is. You know, we're all working. We've all got family lives. You see kids coming in on interviews on the BBC, so I'm allowed for a couple of dogs barking. Look, we got one of our viewers has actually just asked a question. Is there any courses that you feel that you could recommend for somebody starting out, or somebody who's doing it now and wants to get better at what they're doing? Is there any training courses out there?
Yeah, I'm aware that I know Talented Group, they do a training course which offers installation in you know, elements of hard landscaping. I know Vuba, they do a resin-bound surfacing installation course which covers the basics of that. A bricklaying course at college, something I did when I was younger, and that was to give me a theory side, and I did the practice on site. I'm a huge believer in obviously sort of hands-on learning, but also people such as yourself, Johnny. You know, the amount of knowledge that I gained from guys like you that have come before me and trodden that path. And you know, there's a variety of other, you know, groups, and looking at guys' installations, the work that they're putting down on a day-to-day basis, and being around like-minded, positive people. That is, for me, where I personally learn the most. You know, there are those courses, but it's surrounding yourself with winners and the best people that are going to offer you solutions to where you need to be.
Yeah, you know, Mark, there's a couple of things. I really like the point that you made about that the guys that you've got working for you, that they come to your house and do things for you, and you're all part of a family and part of a team. And it's always, isn't it the case that it's always, you know, really beneficial and reassuring for a potential client that they know that you're the sort of person that they want to invite into their home, isn't it?
There you go. And that's it. And this comes down to security. And, you know, I think this industry is littered with a variety of different standards, shall I say. And people, you know, it does have a bad rep, and it does, it can do. And you know, as homeowners, people need to feel secure in their homes and their, you know, the work that's being undertaken, who's doing it, how it's being done, and also in certain areas and neighbourhoods, you know, the behaviour of the company that's being employed to do the work. You know, it's hugely important to look at all that and how the public view it as well.
Absolutely. Look, what I want to try and do is I'm going to just read a couple of comments. Daniel Price is a potential client of ours. He says, view from us customers is that not so much about having disposable money because of COVID. It's now that we are more careful as to where we spend our money. We would now spend the money on quality. So he makes a point about choosing quality contractors. And then we've got, can we add these courses with links with videos where look, there's no problem. I think when it comes to courses, I think what Martin's done for him as a company, he's trained his guys in-house, haven't you, Martin, on the job? Is there anything better than being trained on the job? Is there? You know, so let's just say for instance, if somebody wanted to say, for example, somebody in your location, another landscaper wanted to sort of maybe hop on a job with you for a bit of training, would you do that, Mark?
You know, listen, that's a very challenging question. Is it in my local vicinity? Potentially not. But, you know, outside of the area that I operate in, yes, you know, I definitely would. I'd welcome that. You know, because, you know, we spoke about this earlier on in the week, Johnny, and it's that conflict of interest. And, you know, you have to manage that and then get your way through that as well, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, conflict of interest is so important for people to actually understand what that actually means. But I suppose if, say you were laying a new block system, a new system, and that, you know, what we've talked about, you know, and I said, look, can I come along and have a look? You'd be more than happy to let me come on site.
Of course I would. I've well met, and, you know, I love, again, being around like-minded people that, you know, it's my life, this is what I do, and I have a huge interest in it, and sharing that with others is what I do. So, definitely, I'd be all ears for that, but obviously outside of managing that conflict of interest. And again, you know, going on that training aspect, I think it's so important to train on the job. And with a lot of this, you know, with these landscaping skills, they are skills, the dexterity of working with the materials and knowing how to do it. I do believe that actually in practice and in situ is a key way of learning.
Yeah, absolutely.
These trades.
Yeah, there's nothing better than actually being on site and experiencing the elements as well, and putting up the elements like we've had this week, and understanding the job, because the job changes, doesn't it, Mark? Obviously, because of the elements and how we go about business.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, courses that are controlled within a college, you know, classroom environment, they don't teach you, you know, the additives necessarily to put into, you know, mortar, you know, sand cement mixes, how to cover things up, and, you know, all of those different aspects, which at different times of year, you know, whether you keep materials cool or whether you keep them, you know, warm throughout different times of year, those aspects, and to be honest, they can sometimes be the difference between a job working or failing.
Yeah,
time of year, if you don't get those aspects right, you know, you could install, say, a patio and not get it right, and you're going to be in trouble. Yeah,
absolutely. Hey, look, I have no doubt about how you deliver a job, Martin, but if you had a problem, how do you go about fixing it? How do you deal with that client? You know, you've had, let's say, I'm not saying it's going to happen to you, Martin, right? But just imagine the bricks are dipped for one reason, because there's a leak next door, the water starts coming through, going down under the ground. And how do you deal with problems? You know, we all have problems, but it's how we deal with the issues, how we resolve these problems, isn't it? that makes us the business we are. How do you go about it?
Definitely. I think for me, the first element of this is accountability, facing the problem and dealing with it head on, and then providing a solution. Now, if it's in the form of there's a few dead blocks, etc., it's the speed at which it can be rectified and rectifying it as quickly as possible, and just coming to a positive solution for everyone.
I love what you said there, Mark. This is a conversation as if we were on site somewhere. And what you said then, coming back with that first word, how you dealt with it is accountability. That is just magic to my ears, because I can honestly say I have never, ever walked off a job. I've always had to deal with it. And I'm not saying that I dealt with it well years ago when I was a young man, when I was a lot more immature than what I am now. But certainly, I think when you said accountability, that was just music to my ears, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone wants. And going back to your previous question about why would a client choose ourselves, is that accountability factor. It's name a human being that hasn't had a problem in their life, let alone a business. When you learn to walk as a kid, after the first time you fell over, did you give up and think, no, that's it, I'm not going to walk? You kept plugging away, you put one foot in front of the other, and it's exactly the same as business. Are you going to encounter problems? Yes, of course you are. You've got to face them head on, put one foot in front of the other, and deal with them. And they get dealt with. And it's also a freeing process, clearing up as you go, keeping your side of the street clean, and doing that. It's the way forward to move through situations.
Look, love everything you said, and that's why we've linked up, like your approach towards things. If a consumer, a potential client, was watching this now, just read what. Oh, so Ben says in all, just covering what people's responses are. As in all trades, getting the initial experience is the hardest step up, and it is, isn't it? You've got to remember we've all started somewhere, and we in the landscaping industry we do a multiple of trades, don't we, Martin? But the question I was going to put to you, we can cover that again. But the question I was going to put to you, if a potential customer was listening to this podcast now at a later date, how would give us some tips? Give us some tips for that customer on choosing a contractor.
Do your homework. Read reviews. Go and look at previous work that relates to the potential work that you want installed. Have face-to-face meetings. Get everything down in writing. Follow a sales procedure and system, and make sure just do your research on who you're potentially using, and
they gotta look for some structure in that business in some way. It hasn't got to appear to be chaotic, is it?
No, there's got to be clear systems and processes in place, and the system, the consultation system, when you go to view a client, have you got can you offer the relevant samples, the relevant brochures, the relevant information to help the client visualize what you're potentially trying to create for them? Because I always say to clients, it's all well and good. I know what I'm looking at. You can take me to a driveway. I've seen thousands of them, and I can visualize the driveway before I've even stepped onto it.
Yeah, you know your job.
Clients have. So it's about it's put them in that place where they can visualise the narrative of what you're trying to explain to them and the visual story that you're trying to portray.
Martin, I could go with this all day, mate. You can seriously, you can just imagine sort of on-site bacon sandwich, cup of coffee over a pack of blocks, neighbours watching, people walking past and seeing us thinking they're just talking. We'd be like those council workers leaning on a brush. I'm very conscientious of we may be having another call coming in shortly, but Martin, thank you very much. But can you just tell us your name of your business and your website address, and I'm going to get this in the description on this podcast.
Thank you very much, Johnny. So yes, my name is Martin Ovens. On Instagram as Martin Ovens, Facebook Martin Ovens, or Rite Pave Limited. So the company web address is www.ritepave, which is RITEPAVE.net. Yeah, please feel free to connect, contact. If I can help anyone, do anything, not a problem at all. And thank you so much, Johnny, for inviting me on the show.
Oh, mate,
it's a huge honour, and really appreciate it. It's made my day. And lastly, say, fantastic, big shout out to all the guys and all the fantastic work you produce throughout these, challenging climates. I'll take my hat off to you, and thank you so much.
Do you know, Mark, everything you say I just love, because you just sound just like a kind, nice person, and that's what this world is lacking, is kindness, accountability, and responsibility. Martin Evans from Rite Pave, thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
You take care and be safe, my friend.
I will. We'll speak soon. Take care.
Bye-bye. Well, he's gone. There we are. Well, that was interesting. We've got another call coming in. Let's have a look. Let me just see if I can get this now. Hello. Sam, you're just going to have to bear with me a second, right? Because what happens with these calls, we've got to get you on Bluetooth. So we're just trying to tune you in, and it will happen in a moment when my assistant comes in and helps me to do it. We're going to have to work. Just bear with me for a second, Sam. We had to do it with our last caller. Let me just see if she's around, if she should be watching. Just bear with me just for a second, Sam. Feeling the trust at the end of the confidence was important for us, and a good understanding of what we require as a customer is great. Some projects in life changing for a customer. Daniel Price. Bear with me, Sam. So we've got Sam on now. We've got our assistant here at this moment, and we're just going to there we go. Oh, there we are. See, I'm not a technical person. As simple as that. Let's have a look now. We're getting you tuned in now, Sam. Bear with me a second. It's just the Bluetooth. We're going to have to find it probably. There we go. Sam.
Hi, Johnyboy.
Thank you very much. Listen, I'd explain, thanks for joining. But it's not a technical problem, but we're trying to get you're on Bluetooth now, and we can hear you loud and clear. Thanks for joining, and thank you for being patient. You got 26 live viewers, Sam, on Green Top Landscapes, the YouTube channel. Thanks for joining, and tell us about who you are and where you're from.
No, thanks for the invitation. Yeah, so basically, we like a wall and floor tilers. Obviously, I wanted to get involved with you. I know that you're the sort of person that is really passionate about your industry, and we seem to be coming across a problem where we're getting asked to do exterior porcelain, but we don't know how to use your techniques.
So you're in the tiling industry, yeah?
Yeah, so we're in the wall and floor tiling industry. Obviously, like yourself, you get a lot of the exterior porcelain, which we can use with tile adhesive, but we just don't have the experience or the knowledge of how to do it in your technique. It seems like we get this sort of period in between both. Is it you that does it or us that does it?
Yeah, do you know, it's a strange one. Are you getting a lot of calls, Sam, when it comes to this now?
So we're getting a lot, mainly purely based on there's a few landscapers or patio layers near us, and they don't mind doing the work, but they're saying that they can't cut them, they're not sticking. Material or how to get the material to bond, but then when it comes to getting a cement mixer, I don't even own a cement mixer, so it's like how are we supposed to lay this without tile adhesive?
Hey, look, I think that the industry, Sam, without a doubt, is that there's more and more people. Firstly, we've got to say there's more and more people using porcelain now than the sandstone, without a doubt. I think it's moving over. And before we go on to that, Sam, why is porcelain, in your opinion, so good in comparison to sandstone in this wet country that we live in? It's got that very minimal, low porosity value, isn't it?
Yeah, so there's different types of porcelain, obviously. You get the matte porcelain, which is, if it's a complete matte, it's not polished, you still need like sealing, like the sandstone. But porcelain is so dense, it's like 99% non-porous if you've got a glazed porcelain. it's hard wearing as well. So it's something that you're not going to have like staining, stuff like that, and it is very like tolerant to different weather cycles.
Well, there you are. Look,
The downside is it's hard to cut.
yeah, hey Sam, I didn't mean to interject then, and I'm not going to talk over the top of you, but the interesting point there was you said, and this is what I try to tell people, that there's glazed porcelain and there's matte porcelain, isn't it? And people ask me regular, does it need to be sealed? And the fact is, yes.
Yeah, so that's right. So a lot of people under the illusion that porcelain doesn't need always sealing. Some of them, you can see that if they're like an unpolished porcelain and they're a real matte, gritty one, then there's a good chance that when you go to lay your easy lay grout, you're going to have problems with it staining, and it's going to soak into the surface.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you now, Sam, you know, I get a lot of calls and questions on the YouTube about porcelain. Let's run through some of the things about porcelain. Now, in my understanding, and we'll cover these points one by one, good porcelain generally, as I'm aware of, comes generally from Italy or Spain because they've been doing it a long time. But a lot of, you know, from the India and Poland and Turkey, they are making porcelain now. And I've been told that some of it's being made on Italian running gear, and they are saying that it's Italian.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of things like that before. So just for one example, there's a company and they're called the Swiss Tile Company.
Yeah, I think
they make porcelain tiles.
Yeah, I think
it's actually made in Vietnam.
Right, okay. We got to be careful about what we actually say on it, because we don't want to say something that that we don't know the evidence exactly until it sort of comes out. But you, as a client, you've got to be very careful about what you're choosing, haven't you?
Yeah, no, definitely. If you get like the rectified porcelain, which is the dead sharp straight edges, you generally get a nice flat slab. But if you get like the curved corners and stuff like that, there is inferior quality out there, of course, the same as anything. You've got to be careful and buy from a reputable dealer, definitely.
Sam, you use the word in the industry, you use the vernacular rectified. Can you explain to our viewers, because there are landscapers as well on here that probably, and we'll watch this later on, they don't know what rectified is. We had a meeting with the Italian manufacturers, 2 meetings we set up a couple of years ago. They come over and they went through this process, but the information isn't readily available so much as what it is now. Can you explain to our viewers what rectified is?
So basically, a rectified porcelain tile is the edges are dead sharp, dead square, dead crisp. The corners are complete right-angled corners. It's a dead straight, dead crisp finished tile. It hasn't got curved edges, or like some of the sandstone where you get the tumbled edge. It's not that. These are dead straight, dead sharp edges. And they're machined. When they're machined, they're actually cut into individual slabs with blades, so you get a dead perfect.
So the tolerances are very minimal, aren't they?
Yeah, very minimal. So if you get like a porcelain tile that's not rectified, the chances are you can get it slightly misshaped, the corners are slightly tapered and curved and stuff like that. So
there's going to be, so what we're looking for, and generally in porcelain, the reason that people go for porcelain, Sam, tell me and correct me if I'm wrong, is because they want that modern, contemporary, sleek look, don't they? And a nice cut edge.
That's right. And the porcelain is different manufacturing ways of doing it. You get some ones that are just one solid body, and then it's just got the glaze on top. You can also get what they call like a double press. So it's pressed once, dry, then there's a very thin layer in between the top layer that's pushed on.
Right.
And it's pressed again, so they're so dense.
I'm going to stop you then for a moment, because the information you're coming through is absolutely fantastic. So, and I'm going to get you to elaborate on that a little bit more. So our viewers now are watching is, so when they make the porcelain, is pressed at high pressure, it's fired at high temperatures, but also it's the fillers they put in. So can you elaborate on like full bodied and non-full bodied porcelain, Sam?
Yeah, so full bodied is the same throughout. So you've got the same continuous mix. What you see on the surface is continuous through the whole tile. So if you was to chip the tile, it's going to be the same surface underneath. It's a full-bodied porcelain with the same dyes, the same build-up throughout the whole make of the tile. Then what you get is like a glaze. So you've got your base of your tile. It's all compacted, compressed, and it's finished with glaze on top. So if you did chip it, when you come to cutting, you see the difference on the edge and underneath.
So,
You can see the lighter surface.
Sam, that what you said there is brilliant, but I suppose that for like numpties like me, when I was starting out to try and understand what you're talking about, is that so if Mary Berry made a chocolate cake, it's a chocolate cake all the way through, isn't it? So that would. So as an analogy, I'm full of analogies this morning. You wouldn't believe what I come up with earlier on. So we got Mary Berry's cake. It's a chocolate texture. It's all the same mix all the way through. But then with glazed porcelain, it's almost like the icing on the cake, isn't it, on the top?
That's right, yeah. Sometimes you find that some glazes aren't as good as other glazes, and as you're trying to cut them with a glaze, you get like a little chiseled edge. You sort of,
Yeah.
You get like a chipped edge on it.
Yeah, so and the last thing you want is having, you know, if you had full-bodied porcelain, and what we're saying, I suppose, full-bodied porcelain, if anything dropped on it, even if it had a pattern, it's going to appear the same colour in the middle, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Usually, generally, they do come at a more expensive price, obviously. But it is quite good for if you're doing the facings up against the edge of your dwarf walls, or you're going up against the edge of brickwork. You've got the same colour throughout. You haven't got to try and blend that edge in.
Yeah, hey, Sam, seriously now, how important, well, all this is serious, of course, but how important is it to understand the product knowledge and getting your client to understand the products that you're using or you're potentially going to use? How important is product knowledge for the client?
That's one of the most important things in terms of when you see fails, it is because of a lack of the product knowledge, generally. There's different ways. So if you've got a ceramic hole, you'll be able to stick it in a different technique with less quality materials than what you need for the porcelain. Because obviously you need the flexibility to bond to the porcelain.
Right, okay. So look, we're covering a few things. I don't expect us to cover all these things this morning, Sam. Honest mate, I never thought that we would get onto the manufacturing and understanding it, but I think this conversation we're having now is almost like, is it almost like a contractor talking to a client, where you're talking about the products and explaining to them the knowledge that you have about the products?
Yeah, so I think definitely it affects it, because if you're trying to they're trying to get a finish on the edge of a wall, say you've got nothing to cover the edge of the tile, it's going to be sitting on top. Then obviously it's good to be able to explain to them that, look, you're going to have part of your tile on the side edge that you see is not going to be the same as the top, unless you finish it off with a master finish.
Yeah, absolutely. But
There's nothing worse than getting to the end of a job and the customer saying, well, what's happening with this bit here? Because I don't like that colour, it's not the same as the top. So it's just letting them know that some materials are obviously not going to get the finish that they require.
Yeah, so what you're saying also is that you're preempting this with your customer and letting them know and realising their expectations, isn't it, of that product?
Yeah, of course, and the same down to, if you just say to them, you get the porcelain tiles and we'll come and lay them, but then when you get there, they've got to be sealed before you can grout. That's an extra cost at your expense rather than the customers that you shouldn't really be covering.
Yeah, do you know?
Educate them and get a decision on the product, just knowing, does it need sealing or not? Is it going to be hard to cut and chip, so you're going to have to get a smoother blade?
Yeah, Joe, you picked up on something there, which I found interesting, is that sometimes when I'm doing steps and I got the porcelain hanging over the steps, sometimes I want to put a mould on it. What would you say, having a glazed product and you mould the edge of it, or a full body, what would look better?
So, in my opinion, a full body would look better. So if you can get like a full nudging tool, that goes into like your angle finder, just to curve the edge. Well, if you've got a full body, obviously, it's going to look like the whole hole is just curved like a solid natural stone piece of granite. If you've got the glazed one, obviously you're going to have the brown underneath and then your grey surface on top. So it's not going to look as good. I think it still looks acceptable and still looks half decent. It's all depending on the budget. If you was to go for the best finish, you go for the full body.
Yeah, absolutely. So full-body porcelain. So we've covered a few things here, haven't we? We looked at porcelain, the manufacturing, rectified, whether it's full-body, and then we've got the rating, the slip test. And what should a porcelain product outdoors? I believe it's an R11.
Yeah, Yeah, so R11 is like outside, exterior, heavy traffic, stuff like that. There's different ratings of what you can use. In the tiling industry, you can go down to like an R9, which is interior, non-heavy traffic areas.
An R, right.
Different ratings.
What would you feel if some contractor had put an R9 rating outdoors, Sam? What could potentially be the problems?
Well, it's not going to be slip resistant for one. So if the customer did slip over and hurt themselves, then obviously the installer's going to be at liability. They're going to say, well, why have you put this product that is not suitable here? You've actually probably encouraged this accident to happen. You know, you've got to cover yourself with the product knowledge, like you said earlier.
Yeah. I think. Look, I think listening to from a tiler's perspective is that your knowledge is absolutely second to none. But unfortunately, I think there's a lot of landscapers that don't understand, and we've just touched upon a little bit of this product that's trending massively across the country at the moment, haven't we, Sam?
Yeah, that's right. I think the porcelain's come really, and it's all of a sudden it's just been a big hit for customers for outside use, but it's not really that. No one's explained any differences to it. They're just selling it as a slab, which is maybe some of the builders, merchants, and stuff like that should try and help say, look, you can't treat this mistake as like a natural stone or a sandstone or a limestone. But then I think that's why it's key to share information between us all and understand it a bit better, so we're all protecting each other.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think that a lot of contractors should just not necessarily take a geology course, but understand about the geology and about stones and where they come from and how products are manufactured. Look, listen, we've covered a few things. What about cutting porcelain, Sam? Cutting porcelain, can you explain to our viewers your view on how porcelain should be cut, whether it's 10 mil, 12 mil or 20 mil?
So, they do different ones. They do actually do a 14 mil one that's for outside as well. That's generally to save material, save costs. They're usually the cheaper price to buy. Me personally, I think 20 mil is probably the best. That's what I would go for personally. Don't get me wrong, 10 mil is good for inside use, but obviously outside use, you're going to tend to get landscapes doing it across paths and drives and stuff like that. So 20 mil is going to be the most strongest you're going to get.
What about how do we cut it? How do we cut porcelain?
So me personally, you can get like a score and snap machine that will score and snap some 20 mil, but some are just so hard. I think the best technique really is on a wet cutter, like a bridge saw.
Yeah.
Something like that, wet cut.
Well, we're going to say it because we both use it, but like a ruby, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I really rate rubies. There's other alternatives, but I don't think they come close. I don't think they come anywhere close, and they don't come with the support that ruby will give you. They will help you use that machine correctly. Yeah,
and but the when you're using these bridge saws, they have water. It's got to be cool, doesn't it, when you're cutting porcelain?
Yeah, no, definitely. You've got to have the right blade. And ruby has been around since the 50s, creating tools for tiling. So they've been dealing with porcelain in our tiling industry for at least 20 years. So it's better to use someone that knows the product. They have a variety of stuff to use as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam, honest mate, I've been meaning to talk to you for a long time, and I want to talk to you on a one-to-one so we can have a conversation and discuss things about going forward and how we make this industry better and a better understanding of it. But I guarantee you that people from this video would have learned a lot. So thank you for joining me this morning for this podcast. Would you like to come on again and maybe we get the sound a little bit better next time? But would you like to join me again, Sam?
Yeah, no, definitely. Thanks for inviting me. I'll be quite happy. We could maybe even get some of your viewers to suggest some subjects they want to talk about. I mean, you can talk and answer questions from my perspective of what I know about the product, and also get your ideas back as well. Yeah, absolutely.
I think I'm putting this together so that we can get the information out there. But just having you on here is the knowledge is absolutely fantastic, and people will learn from it. And I guarantee you, Sam, that there will be a contractor out there, because what he's listened to this morning, it will open a whole new world for him. and that will ensure that his client that he's going to work for is going to have a good job done. Guarantee you, because people are going to be watching this over and over again. Maybe we could do a Zoom meet, a Teams meet, or whatever, get on screen, and we can do that as well. But when this dreadful lockdown is over, we can get out and about, and maybe we can come to site, Sam.
Yeah, no, obviously there's loads to do. I'll be happy to come with you on site and do some question and answers, and obviously watch you learn your techniques. And obviously that's helpful for people like us that we just don't have your knowledge on your side. Obviously we have the material, but obviously we don't have the knowledge you have on your side of things. We can do loads of questions and answers and just help share the information.
Yeah, absolutely, Sam. I totally agree with you, and it's just so invaluable. I want to be in a studio with you where we can do some filming and we can just do some testing. We can look at the sealers, we can talk to a manufacturer. You and I, we can just do that thing in a studio where we can get that information out there. But look, before you go, tell us who you are again, and where you're from, and the name of your company. And if somebody was looking to get some work done, give us a web address or a Facebook page, whatever you use on social media. Just tell us who you are, Sam.
Yeah, so Sam, we're based in South East, in Kent area, wall and floor tiling contractors. We've just joined Instagram actually, well, so we're going to try and keep some stories. I took some inspiration from you really, just to try and show some techniques and tips. You can search us on there, Hoffman Tiling Bathrooms LTD.
Yeah, fantastic. Look, what I want you to do, maybe you can message me through your details, because I want to get it in the description of this live stream this morning. Sam, thanks very much. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for the invitation.
No, not at all. And I'll link up with you soon, Sam.
I'll speak to you soon. Thank you.
Take care. Well, there you go. That was absolutely fantastic. It was Sam Hoffman. One thing I never told you, that Sam is an ambassador for Ruby. He talks about cutting and tiling and etc. It goes on and on and on. His knowledge is absolutely second to none. So a massive thank you to Sam. Look, we're going to address this problem of this signal, and you've got to remember, these guys are on the road, they're out and about in places, and they're working. So we got to respect that. And sometimes it's not always sort of quarantined for the sound to be absolutely perfect. We are going to have problems. Just got to say, Nikki on here, and John, of course, and Alison behind the scenes. Thank you, Nikki. What did great advice? Love this morning's topic. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, thanks to Martin Evans as well. I'm happy to do a session for you, Johnny. That's by James Stott. Yeah, no problem at all. Happy to talk to anyone who wants to talk what we talk about, and getting our knowledge out there. Hopefully it's going to help the consumer in some way and help the contractor to make the jobs easy, and just a seamless contract that customers want with their contractors. You hear too often where things go wrong for various reasons, but we're not going to discuss them this morning. It's been an absolutely fantastic live stream. We're going to continue with these live streams on Saturday morning. Lee Handy, great live feed, mate. Thanks very much, Lee. No problem. Be good to talk to you sometimes soon. Look, that's it. I apologise for the sign yet again not being the right way around, but there you go. That's what it's all about. It's real. It's not orchestrated. It's happening now in the office. Thanks for joining. If you've got any questions or anything that you want us to cover, or you want to come in on this live broadcast on a Saturday morning, just let me know. We want to know. We want to hear from you. And even if you are a consumer that you've watched this now, and you want to get your opinion on, and you want to ask some questions, just let us know. Just drop us a message at info@greentoplandscapes.co.uk. You can go to the website. You can have a look on the website, which is www.greentoplandscapes.co.uk, or you can leave us a message in the office on 01633 896 007. Martin Evans and Sam Hoffman, the two gentlemen, the two contractors that joined us this morning. Thank you very much for joining. We will be putting your details in this podcast, so you'll be able to find where those guys are and what they do and have a look at their website. And I'd suggest to go along, if you are a contractor, go along and have a look at their website. These guys are very good at what they do, and it was just great to have them on here. You will benefit from it in some way, whether you are a consumer or a contractor, just by having a look at these guys' business pages, etc. That's it. It's been a cold one, and hopefully it's going to get a little bit more milder next week. Thanks for joining us this morning, as I said again. But just remember, if you can't say anything nice, just don't say it at all. And just be safe. Please be safe. We're not through it yet. All the best. Take care and have a great weekend.